Well, that exchange was a month or two ago, and just the other day, the Attorney General of Maine sent a letter to the Trump administration stating they will continue to allow men to compete in women's sports. The letter reads, the Maine Department of Education and the Maine Office of the Attorney General have reviewed the draft resolution agreement and your impasse letter. We will not sign the resolution agreement and we do not have revisions to counterpropose. We agree that we are at an impasse. Nothing in Title IX or its implementing regulations prohibits schools from allowing transgender girls and women, boys and men, to participate on girls and women's sports teams. Your letters do not cite a single case that holds so. To the contrary, various federal courts have held that Title IX and or the Equal Protection Clause requires schools to allow such participation. So the problem really stems from this. In 2021, the Biden administration opened Title IX, which is protections for women and women's spaces, to be expanded to include anyone who identifies as a woman, not just biological women. And this is a completely novel interpretation of what Title IX is supposed to be for. I mean, I find it so incredibly ironic. Like, it's a twist so surprising, I could not have seen it coming. That the Democrat Party, the party that fought for these rights for women, who believed that women deserved equal and fair chances, equal opportunities, their own programs and spaces, are now the ones arguing in favor of mentally ill men having the right to invade all these spaces. That the historic rights that women fought so hard to achieve are now completely irrelevant because some weird guy wants to put on a dress and demands that the rest of the world see him as a girl and engage in the delusion so aggressively that the exclusive privileges and spaces granted to women must be disbanded. I mean, their argument is so insultingly idiotic. Like, they'll concede that there are two different sexes, but then say, oh, there's like a million genders. And genders are fluid. You can pick one any given day. Obviously, that's a complete lie. But even if it was true, the separation of sports and private spaces are based on the biological and the sexual differences between men and women, not based on some societal construct of gender roles and how you feel and how you present to the world. There are men and women's sports because men are taller, faster, and stronger, not because society has arbitrarily said that men should work and women should stay home with the kids. But nonetheless, that leads to this coming out yesterday that the Department of Education begins the process of terminating Maine's federal K-12 funding as the state allows trans athletes on female teams. Because they don't get it. We're not allowing the abuse of women and girls at the expense of a few mentally ill boys who are so arrogant and self-obsessed that they believe all of society must abandon reality to adhere to their delusion. Just think of like the absolute narcissism involved.